12 days.
Newswire only. Ed.
All right, game time decisions on a Tuesday night on SportsGrid. It is great to be with all of you here. Kevin Walsh alongside, of course, Gabriel Morency, as last night we said goodbye to multiple NBA games on the same night. It was fun while it lasted. Oh, no, I'm lying. They actually will pick this. They're just going to make the Pistons and the Cavs somehow play on the same day as the Spurs and the Wolves. I don't know how they managed to do that. Never mind. Lakers got swept. Gabe, how are you?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Lakers got swept, but they didn't roll over. They didn't tap out. They played hard. And I'll tell you what, I saw my boy Arash Makazi posted a couple hours before the game. He said it was the cheapest Laker ticket of the season, basically. Right? Being LA the way that it is, they're down 3-0. It's a Monday night. Tickets were $90 to get in, which is basically unheard of. It'll cost you that to park and get to the arena there.
Yeah.
So $90 to get in, and you saw the atmosphere was through the roof. It was awesome. Despite the fact the Lakers were down 3-0, the crowd could not have been more into it and louder. Great atmosphere last night. I was impressed by the Lakers' effort. I think Austin Reeves sort of salvaged something, better late than never, as far as stepping up a little bit, Kevin. And as far as the Oklahoma City Thunder is concerned, team total was 113.5. It wasn't easy, but it got there.
Gabe, I had that under. And this is the thing. You said this to me a couple weeks back with some of these baseball totals. Never in a million years could I have bet this game to the over and had it play out the way it did. But as somebody who bet the under, live total was
70 points in the third quarter.
The Lakers almost scored 70 in the second
Sorry,
half.
Kevin, I don't want to make it worse and pile on because I bet the over the game and checked out the in-game number early and just died inside 198.5. And I was like, oh, God. It's like I got the over. We're at 198.5. 70 points combined in the third quarter.
The Lakers didn't score for the first 6 minutes of the second quarter and then scored 39 in the third. They shot, Gabe, 20 third quarter free throws. Like, look, I know that like these guys can be hard to officiate. At some point, if I'm a ref, I'm just not calling fouls. I don't even care if you get punched. I'm done.
Oklahoma City have taken it to the next level as well, right? That's their thing. It's SGA's thing.
But it's also Austin Reeves' thing. It's now Marcus Smart's thing.
Well, it's everybody's thing in the NBA. Have you listened, Kevin? The NBA, even when players score the basket, they're still looking for the foul after.
Yeah.
Like basically 9 times out of 10, after you see someone score, watch them. They'll chirp the ref going, where's the foul? Where's the foul? Like, where's the N1?
Because you do have guys that are like SGA, and listen, he's obviously great. Shea is looking to get fouled more than he is looking to score. Like, it's a bizarre approach to the game, but it obviously works. But it's not Austin Reeves half the time is driving, and falling. It's like that's why you led the series in turnovers by a zillion, Austin. Like it's
James Harden, he was the one that perfected the SGA move. Just come in through the paint, sort of glide in, do the Euro step, float up into somebody. You have to have the credibility to get away with it. But I thought SGA showed last night. He dipped into the toolbox a little bit last night. He was dropping threes. He was dropping turnaround jumpers. He was on top of his game last night. But now they wait, right? Now they wait. Similar to the Carolina Hurricanes and these other teams. Now they wait. The question is, how long will they wait? Right, as we have the San Antonio Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves stepping up tonight, which is kind of a difficult handicap. I think, Kevin, you can make an argument for both teams in the sense that Minnesota have been scrappy. They've shown the ability to cover numbers. And San Antonio have shown that usually once or twice in a series, like two times in a series, they have a blowout game in them. Mm-hmm. Right? We saw it in game 2 where they just ambushed them early and you sort of knew. a couple of minutes early, you're like, yeah, they're mad. They're in a bad mood. Yeah. And I tell you what, they did the same thing the last time Wembanyama got knocked out of a game when he smashed his face into the court. When he came back after, like, they're a good angry team off a loss, right? They just are. San Antonio have shown this, Kevin. They've been that way in the regular season. They've been this way in the playoffs. So I get it. You can argue that, yeah, it's a lot of points to lay, and this series is super competitive. And I think you can make a legitimate argument that, yeah, would you be surprised if San Antonio just hammers them tonight?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think one interesting thing for San Antonio is some of those games where they were hammering Portland, they were also trailing by double digits in those games. They were just kind of turning it on in a really interesting way. I also think Minnesota, and maybe it's because they're not scared of a long series. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like they took game one and did cruise a little bit, I think, through the next two games. Is it they're like, it's fine, house money. Like, I think Minnesota should be more on it tonight when I look at this game. And look, I'll just put it out here now. And I don't know why I keep doing this, but I can't lie to myself. Broke the game down, Gabe. Like the under again. I don't know. I like the under again.
And thank you, because I actually like the over. And yeah, it's one of those. Every time right before tip-off, Kevin, in this series, I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm going to bet the over. And then today it sort of hit me. I'm like, why don't I love these overs more? Like, when you look at them, they're sailing over the number.
But that's, yeah. Like,
they don't appear like they're going to, like a lot of the times where it's like, no. And then it ends up like, you're like, you worried. No, they're not even get to 212. They're not getting to 214. And then they end up getting to 228, right? You've always had that third or fourth quarter where there's been a ton of points. But with the exception of game one, every game has sailed over the number in this series. So the first one went under. And Kevin, 7 of the last 10 times these two teams have played, it's gone over the number now. There is a pattern that is pretty free-flowing.
What keeps happening, it's a similar thing with that Laker game last night, is these totals are lower than these regular season matchups, and it takes one quarter to pretty much get you there. Usually in an NBA regular season, one bad quarter will sink your total. 45
Same
points,
thing last night
you're
in Detroit and Cleveland. I had the over. Started off really slow. It was like, dude, it was 22-20 after the first quarter, whatever. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm doomed. It's going to be one of these games, huh? And then Donovan Mitchell scores 39 points in a quarter by himself.
Which was insane. Yeah, 39 and a half, which tied a record. He missed the free throw to set the record,
it just goes
which
off,
was crazy.
In the third and in the fourth. And same with Harden. That's the thing. And you notice the bouquet is never as loud for Harden as the criticism. Like in the first couple of games, people were over, oh, look at it, he's a loser, look at all the turnovers. Yeah, well, look what happens when he's not on the court, actually. And look how well he's played the last two games and have won the last two games.
The funny thing is everyone thinks
my Cavs are back in this, Kevin.
Yes, I know.
They're one road win away from winning this series. Steal the next one, they're winning this series.
Right. The problem, Gabe, is Harden is likely going to be terrible next game, and Cleveland is going to lose by 10, and then they'll win game 6. And I mean, I don't know if a team has ever played multiple series and gone unbeaten at home, winless on the road, but Cleveland's going to flirt with it. I just want to add one more thing to the equation. You talk about not getting the smoke. And again, I'm not only angry because he's costing me money. That obviously adds to it, but I've got some validation that what is going on with Jalen Duren is historic, and I'm not crazy. His points per game from regular season to postseason has dropped 9.3. It is the biggest regular season to postseason drop-off, Gabe, for an all-star in the history of the NBA. No player has ever made an all-star game and gone from that good to this bad in a postseason. And it's not like, yeah, but at least he's given you one good. No, he's had, at best, one good basketball game so far. It's crazy to watch.
He's lucky he's a Detroit Piston and nobody talks about it.
100%.
Let's call it up for what it is. You're an LA Laker. You do that. You're a New York Knick. This is happening to you.
Yep.
That's all that people are talking about, right? He's just had time and time again to sort of play his way out of it without that national pressure.
Piston fans are now saying he might be the third best center on the team behind Stewart and Reed. We'll be right back on SportsGrid.
They're
Back with the guys right here on SportsGrid. I did want to ask you this, Gabe, because it was a bit of a topic today in the sports world, and these things are obviously a lot more accessible to bet on with the prediction markets that have become a thing. So it's not only just like a hot topic thing, but it's also you can make some money on it if you have some real conviction about what's next for LeBron. I don't think many people believe LeBron is going to retire. I don't think LeBron is trying to make it seem like he's going to retire. I think he's going to have a conversation with his family as he always does. But as we sit here now, May 12th, Gabe, do you expect LeBron to return to Los Angeles, or do you think one of these other scenarios, Cleveland, Golden State, the Knicks, are actually on the board for LeBron James next season?
I think anything is possible when it comes to LeBron James. Options are on the table, but my gut instinct tells me that he doesn't want one last move. I don't, you know what I mean? There's no championship fix. Like, unless he joins the San Antonio Spurs, right, or the Oklahoma City Thunder, per se. Like, what team does he put over the top? Let's be real. He goes back to Cleveland. All right, let's just say, hypothetically, he goes back to Cleveland. They pull off some sort of, they figure something out. And does LeBron put Cleveland over the top? No. Let's say
you can get them to win the East. I think they could be East favorites with LeBron.
So who do they lose, though? Like, if they bring LeBron in?
So that's a valid question. I don't know if they have, like, there's world where it's like they don't have to lose anyone. If they lost Jarrett Allen, Gabe, and brought in LeBron.
Yeah, they would live with that. They wouldn't want to lose Mobley to Brian. You want to lose Mobley.
Certainly
no. Harden's not really, Harden only really went there because they told him, yeah, we will give you the 3-year contract.
100%. Yeah, I think they'd have to go back on their word to Harden, Gabe.
Yeah, that would be that would turn off a lot of play. Like, yeah, they gave the words. Like, my gut tells me he's back 1 year with the Lakers. That he does it one more time. That it's a little bit overblown that him and Luka don't get. I don't think there's any personal issue with them. I don't think it's an ideal pairing basketball-wise per se. But I don't think the Lakers would like for him to retire as a Laker. And I think he would. I don't think he wants to lose his Laker street cred on the way out here, Kevin, because he's going to live there as well. Right?
Yes, he
ain't moving back to Cleveland. He ain't moving to Miami. He lives in Los Angeles. He lives in Bel Air, Beverly. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's where he lives. So does he really want to move to Cleveland for a year for the sake of it and then go back to LA? I think he kind of wants to retire as a Laker personally. That's just my gut feel.
I think if everything was perfect, I agree with you. I think the push and pull for LeBron is he doesn't want to play and think I can't win a title. Even if you think
And
he
so
doesn't
let
have
me
as
throw
much of a
this in here too, Kevin. I'm not even
Yeah.
sure the Lakers want him back.
no, they want him back. That's ridiculous.
So,
they
you know,
need him back. They
figured they
can't
would.
replace him. They
You
can't
figure
replace
they
him.
would? Not yet. You're right. But there's a new ownership coming in here, right?
Yeah, the thing is,
the
there's
Dodgers-
a salary cap. Like, they can't Dodger this thing. Like, they can't. Like, they've made it too hard, Gabe. People are already talking about the Thunder breaking up. And the
They
Thunder
were
got a
already
bunch of
talking
guys on good
about-
contracts.
The Dodgers people are already talking about unacceptable. They need to be better.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna happen. Now, listen, I'm not saying to run him out of the building, but put it this way: if Jeannie Buss was still in control, that'd be a legitimate argument right now. I think the fact that Buss doesn't have the juice anymore in that room, which is crazy to say, that eases things up with LeBron, because I think there was tension between them. I did believe.
Yeah. I agree. I agree that there was some tension there. I think that they are that. I think they lack that much self-awareness in that Lakers front office that they might think, oh, maybe we should get rid of LeBron. And I don't know if LeBron wants to sign up for another year where the Lakers pretend they want to win when everybody can tell they don't. And that's the reality with the Lakers.
Well,
they keep trying to
need
kick
other
the can
players,
down the
Kevin.
road. Yes, they do.
They can't just say, well, okay, we'll bring LeBron, we'll give Reeves his money, we'll bring LeBron back for one more year here. Okay, but then what?
Exactly.
Right? But then what? It's like, all right, we're doing this with Hachimura still again? Right? You know what I mean? Like, and I like
Kennard,
Louis, but
Marcus Smart.
it's not enough. Like, it's been shown. We're going up against Oklahoma City. We're going up against San Antonio. It's not enough. And
it doesn't feel that way.
And other players aren't lining up to play with Luka and LeBron because you're never going to get the ball.
Well, again,
so that's another domino
it's not a
effect
LeBron. LeBron had to take a back seat to make sure Austin Reeves looked good, right?
Yeah, it's a good point. That's what I'm saying.
Like if LeBron leaves,
you get my
who's signing
point.
up to be Austin Reeves' third guy?
Yeah, that's my point. And one thing with Luka over the years, if you'll notice, he's never really had anybody that's like, yeah. Well, I love playing with that guy. They leave. Like Kristaps Porzingis, figure out that'd be perfect, those two. No, like Porzingis, like, no, it's too slow. He walks the ball up the court. Ironically enough, the only one, Mr. Difficult himself, Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving
was like, no, I got no problem with it.
At that point in his career, right? And some of those big men in Dallas, Gabe, like him because Luka makes them look good. But I don't disagree. I'll just say this. I think the thing for Cleveland, you said something in the very beginning. You were talking about LeBron doesn't want like a fourth team. Cleveland isn't a fourth team, right?
Yeah, at least it's his hometown. He can get away with that.
He goes back to the Cavs. Yeah. He's Mr. Cavalier. He'll always be the greatest Cavalier. No, 100%. Like, I think that I would be very surprised if it wasn't Cleveland or LA. Like, I think the Knicks stuff is fun. Don't get me wrong.
No, I think if there's another team,
an eye on it, but
I think if there was another team, it would be Golden State, potentially. That's the only one.
I hate that one so much, Gabe.
And
I hate
even
it
then,
so much.
I don't think he'd really want that going against the Lakers. Right? Like you said.
Also, like,
you go back to Cleveland, you know yourself, we're not playing the Lakers in the title next year. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he sort of knows there's no friction. Yeah, I got to go back to LA, but it's not like I went to the Warriors or the Spurs and rubbing it in their face and coming back and I'm going back home. No one can begrudge me for this. The question is, do the Cavaliers really want him, Kevin? I mean, you can automatically say, oh, yeah, they do. But, you know, Gilbert talked about, like, losing money when LeBron was there. I don't think their relationship is great, bro. If you lose money when you have
LeBron on your team, no, it's not good. If you lose money when you have LeBron, that's on you. You don't know you don't know what you're doing. Now, I don't know if Dan Gilbert knows. You can't lose money when you have LeBron, Gabe. You sell out every single game. Like,
well, the value of his franchise went way up, too. He left that part out.
Yeah. Maybe, you know what, Dan Gilbert, I think you'll be more than fine if LeBron. Let's be real here. You think Dan Gilbert wishes he found a way to never let LeBron leave? I think so.
Gilbert felt bullied by some of the bad contracts that he was left with after LeBron left.
Oh, wow. LeBron made that franchise relevant. Everybody knows it. We'll talk to Craig next.
Rich Paul in the house here.
Thank you.
alienate your fan base. That's the problem. You got to show your fan base that you're still trying to win, and you want to sell tickets in the summertime. You don't want to go into mid-May and say, all right, we're 15 games out, but it's still only early May. No, fans will stay away. So you don't have the luxury anymore of just waiting. So someone's got to get fired. One of these teams is going to fire someone by the end of the month.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I thought the Jets would have pulled the Ty Simpson move. I was desperately worried that was what they were going to do. But instead, they ended up getting it right with Bailey. And so did, by the way, the prediction markets, because we saw all that money come in for Bailey. It's kind of funny because all it is, and then you forget. Who did Arizona go with? I mean, Arizona went with a running back.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're seeing as sports betting is continuing to rise, that some of the potential issues around it are rising too. And these companies are having to deal with that. You have several lawmakers have introduced bills across states in Congress to potentially curb some of the problematic activity. In some cases, like in Ohio, we talked about last week, to potentially end online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's a 7-game sprint with a whole lot of volatility, right? You don't want the best team, so to speak, Donnie. You want the team that has a favorable group stage, weaker knockout path, and has some penalty variance coming their way here, because this is all about the path to the final, Donnie. It's not about the best team, because the best team can get knocked out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on SportsGrid. We're joined by Craig Mish, host of Newswire, right here on SportsGrid, as well as Pro Baseball Today. Craig, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Kevin. It's interesting here. I have a chance to breathe now. Not, doing, like you, several jobs in one day or one night. Last night was a rare night at home for me, so I had a chance to catch up. This morning I wake up, I usually watch all the condensed games in baseball because who can really watch them all? Maybe Gabe at 4 a.m. But for me, no, I can only capture so much, but it's great to be back with you here.
Yeah, it's always good. I'll tell you the one game I am positive Gabe made time for was the Dodger game, though I'm not sure he liked what he saw.
No.
And it's so interesting, right? Because I try to be careful when I bring up, like, anytime Ohtani's struggling, because I have producers here, Craig, who immediately point at me, like, you hate Ohtani. I'm like, I don't hate Ohtani. I just think it's interesting. Like, he's having, I think, an undeniably interesting season where the pitching stuff seems more vocal than before, and the hitting is not going well. I mean, he's batting .233. Right? I saw the tweet that this is the lowest his OPS has been this deep into the season back since 2022. I mean, that's a long time ago for Ohtani to be having the struggles he is right now at the plate.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any excuses for him, but if I did, it would be that he's just uber focused on the pitching. It seems to me that that's what's going on here. I have no quantification for that at all. But that is sort of my feeling as to what's going on. Is just he went into the season wanting to be a better pitcher, pitch deeper into games, maybe try and win the Cy Young. And you never know, Kevin, things could break and he could win that. So that would be my guess. Will he find his water, so to speak, at the end of the season? Maybe not. Maybe he only ends up 250, 260 this season. I think that's plausible and possible. But I don't know if we talked about this yesterday, but I definitely talked about it on Newswire, is that when these two teams play each other, this is a intense rivalry. You can throw things out. They're like, this is NFL, your top rivalry, Steelers and Ravens, where one team's favored by 3, and then you just take the points, Like, that's why it doesn't surprise me at all to see the Giants win game 1. Giants could sweep. Like, it's that intense. And look, if Devers starts hitting just a little bit for the Giants, it would make them more of a competitive team, and he has too. So this is a dangerous series to be laying those minus 200s with LA, I think.
Yeah, speaking of Devers, this is like a secret, but it's Craig. Why not? we have the fantasy baseball league here at SportsGrid. My brother's really running the team for me, Craig. I just it's a little much. And I found out we dropped Devers. I didn't even know. And, Devers behind.
Oh,
he was like,
how many teams are in this league? How many teams?
I don't think we should be dropping Devers. Is my but
no, well,
Craig, he's running. I would say, so I don't know if I can complain too much.
In a 10-team league, it's not impossible. I would say that it's not impossible because guys like that are picked up and dropped. Anything beyond that, it's dumb. So tell your brother I said so. Can't drop him in a 12-team league.
Yeah. I don't think it is. I don't think it is 12. What's interesting though, and I don't disagree with how you mentioned the rivalry of Dodgers Giants, and it's why Yamamoto being, the level of favorite he is tonight over minus 300, it's a bit jarring. What's even more jarring though, Craig, is he's not even the biggest favorite on the slate tonight. You just sometimes kind of get these occurrences. A Pirates team who are obviously not projected to, be a World Series winner or anything like that, well over minus 300 because Paul Skeens is going up against the Colorado Rockies.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get that one a little bit more, but I would be more inclined to go with the Giants just because I've seen this play out a million times before. Yeah. Skeens, outside of those 2-day starts, has been by far the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, and that includes Schlittler and includes Soriano too. So, I would not be fading Skeens regardless of who he's facing against, but I do look at these rivalry games, and I know there's some coming this weekend too. Got to be careful of those. Got to be careful of those. Teams and players seem to get up for those more than they do over the course of the season. Remember, we're about to hit like the slog days of June and July of baseball. We're getting close.
Yeah, it's funny you kind of like where we are in the calendar. I'm just trying to get like just for me personally, like what are some of the leads that feel insurmountable, if you will? Like Tampa Bay is right now 27-13. That's 2 better than the Yankees, who are 6 better than any team in the wild card race. Like, is it unfair to say that if the Rays don't make the playoffs, it would be a failure? Like preseason, no, but
I think they will.
Now,
no. I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't know if they'll win the division. I think the only team really that I would look at and say I don't think the Phillies or Marlins are going to catch the Braves. I don't think so. And the Mets are done. Yeah. So that's the one team that I think, Padres could catch the Dodgers. Dodgers still make it. But no, I don't think anyone's catching the Braves for the division.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. It's funny, they're still a much shorter favorite than the Dodgers, but so it goes. Craig, appreciate it. As always, we'll be right back.
Can't alienate your fan base. That's the problem. You got to show your fan base that you're still trying to win, and you want to sell tickets in the summertime. You don't want to go into mid-May and say, all right, we're 15 games out, but it's still only early May. No, fans will stay away. So you don't have the luxury anymore of just waiting. So someone's got to get fired. One of these teams is going to fire someone by the end of the month.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I thought the Jets would have pulled the Ty Simpson move. I was desperately worried that was what they were going to do. But instead, they ended up getting it right with Bailey. And so did, by the way, the prediction markets, because we saw all that money come in for Bailey. It's kind of funny because all it is, and then you forget. Who did Arizona go with? I mean, Arizona went with a running back.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're seeing, as sports betting is continuing to rise, that some of the potential issues around it are rising too, and these companies are having to deal with that. You have several lawmakers have introduced bills across states in Congress to potentially curb some of the problematic activity. In some cases, like in Ohio, we talked about last week, to potentially end online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's a 7-game sprint with a whole lot of volatility, right? You don't want the best team, so to speak, Donnie. You want the team that has a favorable group stage, weaker knockout path, and has some penalty variance coming their way here, because this is all about the path to the final, Donnie. It's not about the best team, because the best team can get knocked out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on Sport.
All right, live here on a Tuesday night on SportsGrid, Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency. Let's bring up the Major League Baseball board. We have, as per, a couple of 640 games, including just a don't get used to it type of number on the Pittsburgh Pirates that has actually dropped a lot throughout the day. The Pirates at one point as high as minus 335 on the money line against the Colorado Rockies with Paul Skeens going against Michael Lorenzen. Actually on one book, Gabe, now down to under minus 300 here. I'm on under 7.5 in this baseball game. Anything in that 640 window for you? Any thoughts on the idea of Pittsburgh being minus 300 to win a baseball game?
I'll tell you what, in Paul Skeens' last 4 starts, they're 2-2. Right? So if you're betting on Paul Skeens, I'm more into the first 5 than the actual baseball game. And no, I don't trust them. Now, listen, he does get run support somehow. He didn't in his last start, but for the most part, he has gotten run support. But at this number, it's just out of my price range. If anything, I'd roll the dice with the Colorado Rockies, even like plus 1.5. Lorenzen, listen, Lorenzen was once upon a time a good pitcher. Pitched well in the WBC. As well. So, no, I don't have an interest in this, Kevin, with Paul Skeens. The price is just too high for me.
Yeah, the one thing with Lorenzen, Gabe, and you're right, he's better than that ERA looks. There are certain guys who pitch in Colorado long enough who have reverse expectation splits. They're actually better in cores than they are on the road. Like Sentenzella.
And also,
all
Kevin,
the
Pirates are only hitting 164 against him as well. So it's not like, not a ton of them have seen him before, but the guys that haven't hit him either. So it's just one of these deals. I'm always scared of aces, Kevin, to be honest with you. Not just Skeens. I'm scared of like a lot of aces. When they pitch, just weird things seem to happen. I mean, look at DeGrom. And, like DeGrom used to be an automatic fade. As good as he was, right? The Mets wouldn't win, right? It's just one of those type of deals. And like I said, Skeens is awesome, but the last 4 times he started, the Pirates have only won 2 of the games.
Yeah, and just with the Lorenzen point quickly, Gabe, he is someone where Coors is impacting his numbers, right? He's pitching into a near 10 ERA when pitching in Colorado. It's under a 5 on the road. So I think things like that matter. It's a reason I'm playing the under. But what's incredible is on the baseball board tonight, it's not our only minus 300 favorite with the Dodgers late night against San Francisco. Yamamoto going against Adrian Hauser. And there's a couple of stories in this game, but one thing that is, and I don't know if under-discussed is the right word, but I maintain that Ohtani is having a fascinating season. He is off to the best pitching start of his career, pretty easy to argue, and one of his worst hitting starts. And it seems like it's not a secret anymore. He'd rather be pitching than hitting, and all of the results are bearing that out right now for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I think that Ohtani is eventually he's gonna break through this. The Dodgers as a whole just aren't hitting, but Ohtani's struggles are real at the plate right now, right? He's not the only one, but his struggles are real. The Dodgers' struggles are real at the plate. Andy Pages has been their best player this year, right? Everybody else has sort of been okay and or average, and I think Dave Roberts has, a pretty good pulse on this team, and he basically said, and anyone, you watched the game last night was a good example, where it looked like they were going to break through, right? It looked like they're going to break through. They took the 2-1 lead. They had the bases loaded, right? They sort of were going station to station a bit, and then it just sort of ended. Boom. Next thing you know, it's 3-3. They're down 6-3, etc. And Roberts basically said, we're not hitting as a team. Right? He said, we're not really we don't string things, what he meant, we're not stringing things together. It's very individualistic again. And in past years when the Dodgers sort of didn't win, I mean, people act like the Dodgers have ruined baseball and stuff. They've won twice only in a row, right? So in these other seasons where the Dodgers' chemistry would be a little bit off, right? Everyone would be good. It was sort of like when the Trey Turner teams and stuff it was very San Diego-like, sort of like 25 players, 25 limos on the way out after. right? It's not really a team. It's sort of mercenary-like. And I'm not saying the Dodgers are mercenary-like, but they can't just sort of find that groove. They haven't gotten into that groove right yet. And they're going to break loose. And I haven't lost every day with them because I know they've been cold here. I've sort of picked my spots. We did lose last night with them, but we're going back to it tonight. We're going to play the run and a half because this offense is due to eventually explode.
Yeah, and Hauser's bad, and he's been smashed by lefties. It's a great spot for Ohtani, but this is my thing with Shohei, and I think there's a lot of people who argue as long as he does both, he is the league MVP because nobody else can do both. It creates roster spots, and I understand all of that. But right now, just Ohtani has not been the best player in the National League. You could very easily argue it's been Andy Pages, actually.
He's been one of the best pitchers. But yeah, he hasn't been one of the best. He hasn't been one of the best overall players this year.
He's been mediocre at the plate. He's hitting .233 with 6 home runs. He's been mediocre.
Yeah, offensively,
that's okay to say.
Yeah, but he's not in the MVP mix right now. But I don't think he cares about the MVP mix, and he is super bothered by the slump. He's not used to these prolonged slumps like this.
No,
right? There's been times in the past where he hasn't hit home runs. Right, he'll go 8 games or whatever. Like the home runs aren't coming, but he's smoking the ball into the gap and he's hitting 280 or whatnot. It's just I think he's just pressing a little bit right now. But at the same point in time, if you're the Dodgers, things aren't really going well for you right now. You're going through the grind a little bit, and you're still in first place. So I think like the rest of the league should be kind of worried because there is going to be that switch that is flicked, right? Kyle Tucker's an example. He's been good, been okay, but just sort of okay. Freeman's starting to get it going a little bit right now. Mookie Betts only came back last night, right? So there's no panic button. Even with Ohtani, everything will fall into place for him. He's just too good.
Yeah, and I want to be – I am not saying that, like, time to panic. The Dodgers basically played their first 20 games so good that they were allowed to take off their next 15. Like, that's how good they were to start the season. There's no panic for the Dodgers. There's no panic for Ohtani. It's not about panic. It's one of the most incredible players of a generation is always going to be a story. We started this show talking about LeBron, and Ohtani is LeBron-level interesting. Sometimes people think I hate Ohtani because I'm willing to talk about Ohtani outside of, oh my gosh, he's so great. We all know he's great. We all know he's great. He's fascinating. He literally doesn't want to be hitting. He wants to be hitting well, but he'd rather just pitch. But he has to hit because he's too good at it to not hit.
Pitch. No, your guy wants to hit. He wants to play. Kevin, he wants to play outfield every day. He doesn't just want to be a pitcher, this guy. Yeah, he does want to play outfield. They don't let him.
Well, probably for a good reason. Probably for a good reason.
He wants to play. Yeah, because they pay him $75 million a year. Right?
Yeah. You'd end up getting like.
You're acting like he doesn't like hitting. He wants to pitch only. Like that's crazy talk. Like, yeah, he doesn't like hitting 50+ home runs. Yeah, I know. Like,
of course he.
I don't know what your take is. For you're coming from.
My take is right now. Ohtani is more focused on pitching than anything else because he. No,
he's not more focused on it because he's struggling. It's baseball, Kevin. People struggle. People struggle.
Going off of things you've talked about. See, this is what I don't know why everyone gets so defensive. You've said Ohtani has missed pitching. You've talked about how Ohtani wants to win a Cy Young. You said, not me. You said that.
No.
I'm not saying Ohtani's bad.
He likes pitching, but he likes pitching, but not at the expense of his offensive numbers. You got to understand him, Kevin. Nobody puts more pressure on himself than he does.
And it's showing up.
He literally plays for a country. Like, he really does. Like, he feels the weight of Japan, and then not even mention the weight of the Dodgers and stuff. But, like, he is bothered by failure to no extent. But, he hasn't dealt with it a lot. But it's still early. We're still in May right now. So, there's really, like I said, yeah, he's struggling to play right now. So what? He's going to break loose.
All right. Ohtani hitting .233, all good, nothing to see here. I think he pitches tomorrow. I'm sure he'll give up no runs because he cares more about pitching than hitting.
over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
There is a pick tonight that Gabe has that, to some degree, I find completely outrageous. Then I looked at it a second longer, and it might be a really smart angle.
I like to test them a little bit.
I like that.
To test them a little bit.
I like that a lot.
Oh, yeah, come on, you don't know? You don't know this team name? You should. You're in the sports business.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Number one, who asked for this? Nobody, but nobody asked for a bump up in the number of teams in both the men and the women's basketball tournament from 68, including the 4 play-in teams, to 76. And by the way, it looks like it is a near-done deal. ESPN and ABC News reported this morning that's very close to being done. It could be announced by the end of this week.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Okay, guys, back at the right here on a Tuesday night. And, man, if I not upset.
One thing, Kevin. Sorry, just one thing I want to go backtrack to. Not back so much to Ohtani, but it's not like the Dodgers are super struggling or anything like that, right? They're not. Just there's always that sort of, they're not winning 118 games, and no one thought that they were, right? Their win total was 103.5, et cetera. And no, not a single team in baseball won 100 games last year. But I just wanted to get to a fact that look at the Blue Jays struggling from last year. The Seattle Mariners struggling from last year. Teams that did well last year and went deep into the playoffs have been struggling so far to start this year. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I actually gave, when I look at the standings, you try and figure out, is there anything that's kind of locked up, right? To me, I think we're at a point now where if Tampa Bay doesn't make the postseason, it's a bit of a collapse. People might say that's crazy on May 12th. I don't think it's crazy. If you look right now, the Tampa Bay Rays, compare them to the wild card teams, right? They're up almost 10 games, Gabe, on what would be the first team out, right? That's a lot of games to have now on the upper hand if you're the Tampa Bay Rays.
We talked about it yesterday. What a big series it is. Just point blank for the Toronto Blue Jays. And or that if you're the Rays, because you just continue to put real estate between yourself and teams that are going to go on a little bit of a run at some point, right? They're going to go on a little bit of a run, but you're right. If you have a good enough record, you can get to a point where you could say, you know what? We play 500 baseball the rest of the year. We're going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? You just sort of the numbers 100%. Become reality where it's just play 500 ball, guys. We don't collapse. We're going to make the playoffs. Listen, the Yankees are right there. They're only 2 games back. But as far as, the rest of the division, and what's the problem for the Blue Jays is, too, they keep losing to the Rays. So,
yeah, they stopped playing.
Yeah, so it's not we're back, but don't worry, we're playing the Rays a bunch of times. It's no, we're behind so much because we played the Rays a bunch of times.
Yeah.
That's a problem for them, right? And I got swept last week by them, Kevin.
Yeah.
Then they lost. This, to me, this is a big week sort of for the Jays. And, same thing, not a panic. Dude, every year. Last year, they want to fire Gibbons. I thought he should get fired, right? The last 3 years, the Jays have had the same record, Kevin, at the same time. They're 38-41 or something. You know what I mean? all the time. And then they always go on some run, and it sort of, oh, everything's all right now. It's getting late early right now if you're the Jays because, you got swept by the Rays last week. You lost again last night to them. You got to find a way of winning the series somehow. Otherwise, you're going to end up being 11.5 back by the end of the week, Kevin.
Yeah, and I think what's going to start, though, to be so fun is the wrong word, maybe infuriating depending on who you are, the National League race versus the American League race. Again, there are 4 teams over 500 in the AL. There are 9 in the National League. More than
good teams
double. More
in the
than
National
double.
League.
Gabe, like if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks, you're sitting there like, you have got to be kidding me. I am bang 500. I'd be competing for multiple divisions in the American League. I'm basically dead on arrival. I have no chance, it feels like, if I'm Arizona.
I can't feel bad, though, for a 20-20 team with a run differential of -21.
Yeah, but look at the White Sox game. My point is the White Sox are 19-21. They're a game and a half back.
I know.
The Mariners, I think, have the second best odds to win the AL. They're 2 games under 500. Like
there's an imbalance. There's an imbalance to this right now.
Yeah.
But you look at the San Francisco Giants, who 17-24 on the season. There's one thing after another. I don't know if you saw the clip of the manager called to the bullpen, but he didn't say for who.
Oh, come on.
He just basically said, I want a pitcher. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they were like, so who? Like, he basically picked it up. Yeah. Check it out from the other night. So it's a great little clip here. But I was going to say, if they only played the Dodgers, Kevin, they'd be in first place. Right?
Yeah.
San Francisco been a problem for Los Angeles. One of these rivalry-type games. So big game tonight for the Dodgers, actually. Right? We're talking about, where it's sort of getting real right now. San Diego are officially in first place right now. The Dodgers are in second place in their own division. Right? They're a half game back. So this is getting serious right now for the Dodgers. It's not like they're not trying or they're mailing it in. They're just not hitting right now. But they're going to break loose. Right? Eventually they're going to start cracking home runs. Ohtani's going to start cracking home runs. They put up runs in 2 of the games in Houston, and that's just been right back to flat again, Kevin.
The weird thing for LA, again, I'm not overreacting, but 13-9 at home, you would think it would be better. Like, think about the prices we see. No, but
they've never been a great home
think about
team.
the prices though. We usually see on the Dodgers at home, right? Like, they're never a home dog. That's not going to happen, obviously, right? Like, they're favorites in every single one of those games. Like last year, they were 52-29 at home, right? So.
You have to take them on the run line, just point blank. And actually, the Dodgers really do not win very much by 1 run. They'll either just lose the game outright and not score, or they'll beat you by a margin. Like, they are just super, super consistent over the years, trust me. Right? That's you just got to bite the bullet with the Dodgers. You can play them in parlays if you want, but like I said, let's not overreact, Kevin. They've scored 200. They have a plus run differential of plus 63. They've scored 206 runs, the most runs in a division, okay?
I just want to set I want to attempt.
There's a different bar and there's a different level for them. I understand.
Yeah, I want to attempt to set the record straight. I have a parlay in tonight that is Dodgers -1.5, Yamamoto 6 Ks, Ohtani 3+ hit run RBI.
You know what? You're not allowed to play Ohtani, actually. Stick to your Aaron Judge props.
This is what I'm talking about. I don't know what it is with Ohtani fan. The only conversations you're allowed to have with a Shohei are, hey, tell me how awesome you think he is. Yes, I don't get it. He's won everything. Everybody thinks he's God. And if you're like, hey, really interesting season out of Shohei, you're like, you know what? You hate the guy. Don't know what it is about you. Don't know what it is. You can't stand Ohtani. Admit it. I'm like, I'm betting on this guy.
I'm not going to be with him. I'm just saying you're attacking him a little early. That's all I'm saying.
You're
coming at him a little early.
I think I could find a clip in this where I could make it seem like Gabe was actually lower on Ohtani than I was. I think Gabe said Ohtani's not in the MVP race.
No, he's not. I'm just being honest.
MVP.
He's not. He's in the Cy Young mix.
See?
He's in the Cy Young mix.
Dodger
but it goes
fans,
to show them. It goes to show the importance. I'd rather a guy that produces every day than every 5 days.
He does them both. We'll be right back.
go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge. Only on SportsGrid.
There is a pick tonight that Gabe has that, to some degree, I find completely outrageous. Then I looked at it a second longer, and it might be a really smart angle.
I like to test them a little bit.
I like
to test them a little bit.
I like that a lot.
Oh, you don't know? You don't know this team name? You should. You're in the sports business.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Number one, who asked for this? Nobody, but nobody asked for a bump up in the number of teams in both the men and the women's basketball tournament from 68, including the 4 play-in teams, to 76. And by the way, it looks like it is a near-done deal. ESPN and ABC News reported this morning that's very close to being done. It could be announced by the end of this week.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
All right, we're back with you guys right here on a Tuesday night. Let's get to the. I'm just thinking about my brothers. They get into arguments over bets, and I don't know. Gabe said something that Gabe, I think you'll appreciate this. So I have one brother who doesn't really bet, and I have one who does, but they both like to be right. So the one who bet the Dodgers to score first last night. The one who doesn't was like, I think Devers is going to start to heat up. So Devers hit the home run. Right, and my brother who bet and lost money goes, you would think Ryan slammed the game. You think he slammed Devers' home run? Like, he's running laps around me. I lost money. He just said Devers was going to have a good month. So I just started cracking up because you were just talking about the game last night. We got a lot of picks to get to. I felt the same pain.
Yeah, I felt the same pain. Trust me, as I was on I was on the Dodgers last night, along with the other games. And I'm watching the NBA and watching the NHL and everything. I check in with the Dodgers right away. I'm like, God, they're down 1-0 already. It was just one of those. It's like they're always playing from behind. You know what I mean? It's just one of those. It's been a frustrating week for them. All right, so it's been a frustrating couple of days for the Buffalo Sabres as well. They're shaking things up tonight. They're making a goaltending change. They're putting Luke Shen in the lineup. So they're definitely trying to shake things up. They've been outscored 11-3 in the last 2 games. I don't really believe in momentum in the playoffs. Each game is sort of a new entity, but it's hard to argue that Montreal hasn't found something right now. And that building and the atmosphere in there, it's hard to get in front of. You saw Buffalo scored in the first minute of the game, and they still got ambushed after. So I have a hard time not taking the Canadians tonight at minus 147. Give me over 1.5 goals in the first period at minus 119. I believe that the Ducks and the Knights are going 7. And I don't think the Ducks are intimidated by the Knights. I'm getting plus 141 tonight. I'll roll the dice with the underdog. NBA basketball, Wolves Spurs over the number. Wembanyama has been a rebounding machine. If he doesn't get kicked out of the game or concuss himself, he should go over 12.5 rebounds. And here's the team that we were talking about, my boy Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers, minus 1.5 tonight.
To the Wemby point, in this series, 15 rebounds, and then obviously he got tossed.
That's what I'm saying.
He has been just on a tear. I was like looking at his assist numbers. I was like, I wonder if there's some value there. not passing much this series, Wemby. Thought that was interesting. Let's get over to the Major League Baseball for me. I thought the baseball board was pretty interesting tonight. I did play that Pirates-Rockies under 7.5. I really like the Atlanta Braves. Again, baseball money line, sometimes you have to be careful loving stuff, but I think Atlanta's in a great spot. Sometimes you worry about a hangover when a team goes to L.A., plays the Dodgers, and play well, but they have the exact lineup to hit Colin Ray at home. Grant Holmes in a good spot. I really like the Braves. I like the over Rangers D-backs. Remember when Zach Gallen used to be an ace? That feels like a decade ago at this point. Mackenzie Gore's not been what Texas paid for, so I like the over there. And then a couple of more unders. I don't know who I've become. I don't know what it is. Marlins Twins under the 9. I really like that
under. You love
the
baseball unders.
I know, Gabe. And again, most times I feel like I'm like taking awful beats. A's Cardinals under 10. And then, Gabe, I will say, a little disappointed in you tonight. No WNBA on the card.
Wow.
The Angel Reese for 15. Give me the Portland Fire to cover the 13 against the Liberty, Gabe.
Ooh, really? You're going to roll the dice. I was looking forward to your take, actually. I did wanted to get to the game. Can't give, so many picks.
I know.
But the Atlanta Dream, the Dallas Wings. You and I talked about the new coach from South Florida that came into the WNBA. He's a new coach of the Dallas Wings. Dude, the Wings, like we saw they played, they cracked 200. I mean, what they got to 210 or whatever it was with the fever in their first game.
Yep.
Atlanta scored like 91 in their first game.
Mm-hmm.
They got to 181. We got 180 here, Kevin. I'm not going to overthink it. I'll tell you what, I know you're high on the Dream. They're a really good team, but Dallas showed us something, man. When they're healthy, they're dangerous. The way they push the ball. And I'm going to go back to it, Kevin. Paige is 19.5 tonight. She got there the other night, and Enrique is 15.5 tonight. To score 20 or more is plus 265. What am I missing? She scored 22 in the first game.
Yeah, I think the books are missing something there, Gabe. She only played 29 minutes because she got into foul trouble. I think they're probably still booking.
She was bombing away. It was her. Yeah. No, but it was basically her. AZ, she had 10 or whatever. Like, AZ got her
AZ
shots.
only played 18 minutes. AZ didn't play that much, Gabe, in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But she still, how many shots did she get, though? She still got some looks and stuff. I remember she scored a couple of times.
Fudd actually only scored 3 points. She went 1 or 2.
Oh, she hit her first 3, eh? She hit that 3, and that was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But, I was going to say, Paige and Enrique were the offense. They were the two that were shooting all the time.
100%.
So I got 15.5 tonight? Come on.
I like the look a lot. I think it's a really, really good look. I'm not getting – look, I have like a 500 unders on my card. I'm going to
play over 19.5, Kevin, at plus 265.
I think it's a great look, Gabe. Behind the scenes, they got a couple of picks for you. D-backs, Brandon Lowe. And there he is again, Josh Doan to record a point with Buffalo and Montreal. We'll see everybody tomorrow right back here for Game Time Decision.
Go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
There is a pick tonight that Gabe has that, to some degree, I find completely outrageous. Then I looked at it a second longer, and it might be a really smart angle.
I like to test them a little bit.
I like
to test them a little bit.
I like that a lot.
Oh, you don't know? You don't know this team name? You should. You're in the sports business.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Number one, who asked for this? Nobody, but nobody asked for a bump up in the number of teams in both the men and the women's basketball tournament from 68, including the 4 play-in teams, to 76. And by the way, it looks like it is a near-done deal. ESPN and ABC News reported this morning that's very close to being done. It could be announced by the end of this week.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into Sports